Today we'll look at how to run an enhanced linear buckling analysis. We'll begin by creating a new part file, and we'll create some geometry in it for our column. We'll create a cylinder that's 1/4 inch in diameter and 10 inches in length. Next we'll assign a material to our column. Here we'll select one of the materials out of the library. We'll use 410, and first we'll inspect it to see what the modulus of elasticity is. Here we can see it in PSI. We'll use that a little bit later in some hand calcs. So here we'll assign 410 to the cylinder, the column, and then we'll create our simulation files. Here we don't need an idealized part, we're going to mesh the cylinder directly. And we'll create a new solution 105 linear buckling. And we'll take all the defaults. So let's see what those defaults are. And here you can see the default method is enhanced buckling. The old default was Lanczos, and the Lanczos had data associated with it, but the new enhanced buckling method does not. So we'll have to create some enhanced buckling data in order for the solution to run successfully. Here we can select an extraction method. I recommend implicitly restarted Arnoldi and one eigenvector. We really don't need more than that, but if you want to see what the other methods are that are available, you can hit the question mark on the dialog to get help on that dialog, and we can go further into the eigenvalue extraction methods to see more details on the various methods. Alright, so that looks good. Next we'll go ahead and put a brick mesh on our column. And before we do that, we should make sure that our meshing preferences are not too coarse for the element size that we're going to be using. And here you can see the default is 40 thousandths. That's going to be pretty close to the element size that we're going to be using on this column. So I'm going to make that smaller, at least an order of magnitude smaller than the element size. And here we can get a recommended value of about 70 thousandths. We'll go smaller down to 40. And that looks pretty good. We'll start with that. Next we'll go to the sim, where we'll set up our constraints by fixing one end of the column, and we'll leave the other end free, which is where we'll apply the compressive load. And for linear buckling, we want to put a unit load, 1 pound, and put the direction such that it puts the column in compression. Alright, at that point we're ready to solve. Here I'll pause the video while it's running, but you can see it only takes about 8 seconds to run with the enhanced buckling method. It's faster than the old Lanczos method, which would take about twice as long. And here we can see our results. 145 pounds for our critical load for buckling. And here you can see the shape of how it's going to buckle. So let's check some hand calculations to see how accurate our answers are. And here you can see, based on the column dimensions that we have and the constraints that we have, we should be getting 150 pounds for a critical load for buckling. So if that's good enough, great. If it's not, we can do a mesh convergence study. Let's go ahead and refine the mesh a little bit. Here, instead of 40 thousandths, we'll go with 30 and see what effect that has on our results. And just so we can remember the original results, we'll go ahead and clone our solution. We'll call this one 105R for refined. And we'll go ahead and solve. Here, I'll pause the video again. You can see this one takes about 17 seconds to run. And we can see our updated results show 147 pounds, which is a little bit closer to our 150 that we were predicting with our hand calculations. And that is how to run an enhanced linear buckling analysis.